Rogers with Chris Caldwell are going to do a song called right now, Jesus, You're the Light. Ladies and gentlemen, give them another welcome, please.
Sometimes you need something. Some days you feel insane. Gets a little too hard being your own man. Reaching up to you, take his hand and find the way. Oh, Jesus, you're the light to my darkened heart, a shelter for my wandering soul. And I would be a fool to turn and walk away. You know I'm gonna stay with you. Look inside, you'll find that some things they'll never change. Don't give up the fight, that's just human nature. You can't get to heaven by your games. Take his hand and find the way. Oh, Jesus, you're the light to my darkened heart, a shelter for my wandering soul. And I would be a fool to turn and walk away. You know I'm gonna stay with you. Oh, Jesus, you're the light to my darkened heart, a shelter for my wandering soul. And I would be a fool to turn and walk away. You know I'm gonna stay with you.
Kevin, what a beautiful song that was.
Thank you, Anna.
You're a youth pastor, a songwriter, powerful songs as well, and you're this person who's been singing beautifully over your left shoulder. We want to meet her as well. Now, I understand you're at the same church in Exeter, and what is it that you do there?
I'm the secretary.
All right, Chris. I guess as a secretary, you have to wear a lot of hats, and music is part of that as well?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
All right, well, it's great to have you here. This week we've been focusing on the crossfires of life, many testimonies of people that are right in the thick of things, where there seems to be attacks on all sides. Now, as a youth pastor, I want to know from you, Kevin, where young people are today, where are their struggles, and what sort of answers are you able to present to them?
In the youth ministry that I've been involved in, I've found that I tend to have had a little more spiritual success working with kids outside of the church that have been won to the Lord and brought into the church. And I've often struggled with the question, you know, of why it is that way. Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, I read a book that was written by Dr. Robert Laurent entitled Why Teens Turn Away from the Church. And in that book, he talked about the fact that the number one reason that our churches are losing young people is not because of drugs or because of media or because of humanistic teaching at school. Mm-hmm. The number one reason we're losing our young people is lack of church involvement. And he went on to great length to explain that. And I have found in my youth ministry that has been a real tool that the Lord has put into my hands. Equip the young people. Give them something to do. And
so they're busy in your group, you're saying?
Yeah.
With music and whatnot?
Yeah, we have a youth band that up until just about a month ago, they've been traveling all over Ontario. We even went to Montreal, and a couple years ago we did a northern tour, and we've taken our youth band and just used that as a vehicle to train young people for ministry. We also have a drama team with about 10 young people involved. And you know, we were talking earlier about Rick Hillsden. Yes. When I remember back at youth conventions and times when he would be speaking and talking about God raising up an army. And I remember at the time thinking, how can that be? And yet I've seen that as God has raised up young people that know how to minister to other young people, I've been a part of that, seeing that happen. You know, God is giving young people a place in the church, a place of service.
Kevin, you're seeing young people from outside the church come into the church. You're equipping the young people to reach them, I'm sure, at their high schools through music and drama. That's exciting to see that you're taking the gospel outside the four walls. This next song you're going to sing is called Reconciled. Why don't you tell me about how the words dropped into your life?
I grew up in a pastor's home. Yes. And as a young man growing up, I mean, I don't remember a time when I didn't know the Lord. You know, some people say, well, I was saved when I was 16 or 30 or 12. And for me, it was as soon as I was old enough to think and put it together, I accepted the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I never had a time of deliberately saying, I'm rejecting God, I'm rejecting the church, I'm going to go out into the world and do all the things that my flesh craves. I never had that experience, and yet, growing up in the church, I know what it is to be cold-hearted towards God. Mm. I know what it is to struggle with temptation and struggle in areas of sin and feeling so alone and so alienated and wondering, you know, how could I grow up with such a heritage, you know, and knowing the Lord and yet still have these struggles. And I think we all understand that battle that goes on. And the prodigal son story inspired the words to this song. Okay. It talks about the fact that I'm not writing this as somebody who went out and got drunk or went out and lived with a woman or anything like that. I'm writing it as someone growing up in the church who had some skeletons in the closet.
That's great. I'm looking forward to hearing this. Once again, will you welcome with me Kevin Rogers and Chris Caldwell.
There have been times when I ran away from God. I am so ashamed, but time and again, lost in my sin, He came, calling my name, and though I have failed and broken His heart, I know He is not ashamed to call me His child, His reconciled. I come as a child, I come again. Why do I hide from His voice? Who do I prove with my choice? Reconciled, the prodigal child. Though I have failed, You've never failed me. Heart of stone, feeling alone. I'm not at home till I'm reconciled. If I cut up the hands that misguide the plow, I know You'll give me your hands. I'll take out these eyes that lust and despise, and close to the plight of man. Why do I hide from His voice? Who do I prove with my choice? I'm coming home poor, my motives are pure, I mourn. Your riches I've lost, I'll be your slave, I'll try to behave. I come, the remorseful one, again, to be reconciled, the prodigal child. Though I have failed, You've never failed me. Heart of stone,
You know, you may be sitting in your home, but, I mean, you really, really feel at home.